Hey everybody, and welcome to the intersection of sports and marketing. I'm Cristiano, and this is episode number 34 of OUTOFSCOPE. Stop working in silos. All you marketers out there need to listen to this.
Sports marketing expert Cristiano.
Cristiano.
Marketers and advertisers and brands always have to keep in mind, you have to play to the state of your audience.
Endurance sports athletes are absolutely fanatics.
Having a Facebook page doesn't get you any business, but doing it right can be quite effective.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 34. I know it's been a little bit of a gap in the last couple of episodes. It's been a little bit of a crazy month here at Bold in August. As you may know, I was in Utah. I'm traveling to New Hampshire and then Vermont this upcoming week. It's been a crazy month. We had some new clients come on board. We've got some other interesting work we're doing. So it's just kind of been a bit of a grind in a positive way. And so it's been a little bit harder to do the episodes as consistently as we were. And there may be a couple more gaps as I'm traveling, but we're going to work on some other interesting content and put some stuff together. So keep it kind of flowing. So keep checking in for sure. But this episode I want to talk about because I've seen some really consistent issues with a couple of larger companies. I'm not going to mention their names, but they're companies that you've probably all heard of, and then some other smaller companies that you may not have heard of, but they're all in kind of different life stages, life cycle of their businesses. Some are super established, very large. Some are small, mid-sized, but they've grown and they're transitioning, and there's some corporate restructuring going on. And I've noticed a lot of commonality, and I think as business had been for the last 40, 50 years, it really evolved into here's a group or a structure of a group within the company that does X, and here's another structure or group within the company that does Y, and so on and so on. But these silos create a very difficult environment for creativity, for the ability to move quickly, for flexibility, and scalability. I think that that's some of the things that I'm noticing where some of these bigger companies that they're massive, they got a lot of money, they got a lot of employees, which is fantastic. But because they work in so many silos, there's not anybody can just kind of, run across the floor or pick up the phone or jump on Skype and have a conversation and have some decisions made and move forward. It's, we can't do that because this team is managing that part of it and they're located over here. And then, we have to bring this group into this conversation because they have this part of that thing. This group is managing this segment of the US's marketing, but this team over here is managing Mexico and this one's managing Canada. And you go, wow, like you start to see how quickly things can slow down, how quickly the communication not only slows down, but starts to get diverted from creating success, creating great campaigns and great strategy to people within each silo justifying their roles, their territory, their titles. And it ends up becoming a detriment to the campaign, to the overall business model of the company, because instead of having all of these people working together for the same goal, which is to grow the company or to sell more things or to increase revenue or increase bottom line, instead of focusing on that and everyone's energy being put towards that, everyone's energy is trying to justify either why they shouldn't be involved with this or why this other portion has to be involved and we can't make a decision without them. And all that does is slow down the process. It doesn't make the process better. It doesn't make the quality any better. It doesn't make the company any more efficient. In fact, it does the absolute opposite. It makes the quality worse. It makes the culture of the company worse. It makes efficiency worse. It costs more money. And it's just a product of how industry and how business had been grown over the last 50, 60 years and even earlier. And today, where communication happens instantly, you don't need to have a team in Mexico and Canada and the US and Brazil to manage those different segments. Now, maybe some businesses do, but for the most part, I'm talking about from a marketing perspective, you just don't have to have all of those different people in all of those different areas, managing all of those different aspects and telling each one of the other management parties that they're encroaching on their territory and it has to be done differently. It's absolutely wrong. It's BS. It doesn't make any sense. It's nonsense. And what would be a more efficient business model would be to have everyone in the same place at the same time making decisions across the board, company-wide, from a marketing. This goes for anything. I'm talking specifically from a marketing perspective, but this could go for R&D. This could go for HR. It doesn't matter. Pick a department and turn it inside out. Instead of it being a department, turn it into a coalition of people with the same goal. And I've just seen it really slow down process. And what happens, in my opinion, is the KPIs, the key performance indicators of what is a successful campaign, what is a successful sale, what are the benchmarks, they become smaller and smaller because everyone's taking a little bit of the pie. Everyone's, kind of undermining the other work everyone's doing because they don't want the other person to shine because then their territory doesn't look as good. And I think that's just such a wrong way to go about doing business in this day and age. You can be in every place at all times at once from one location. For the most part. Obviously, if you need to have a physical location, yeah, you might need to be there. But if you're not, if you're doing e-commerce, you don't need somebody there. You don't have to have somebody physically there. It can be managed, at least from the marketing perspective, right? I think that everybody needs to be on the same page. I think it's also a mistake, and this happens, I see, as working with a lot of brands that have multiple agencies, which I totally understand the use for. I get it, and we're happy to be one of those agencies with some of these larger companies. But what I see happening, like huge brands, it makes sense for. But mid-sized companies that want to pretend and play like they're these huge brands and they have 4, 5, 6, 7 different agencies doing different things, guess what? Each one of those agencies is now a silo, right? They don't know what the other agency's doing. They're encroaching on the other agency's work, so the other agency is going to want to prove that they're doing it wrong or they're doing it right, or say, oh, well, no, it's because we're doing this thing and they're not doing that. It's our creative is better because we thought of this. Well, no, your strategy is wrong because of that. Or, well, we're part of North America and you're looking at Canada and our strategy is different than your strategy. And at the end of the day, those agencies are now working in silos. And typically I see that when the mid-size or larger companies whose structure themselves works in silos. So you have departments making decisions with different companies and different vendors and different agencies working with other vendors and different agencies. Everybody's in a silo and no one communicates together. Communication is very poor and nobody can get to market quickly, so things are slow. Decisions are slow. Creative is slow. Creative's behind. By the time creative comes out, it's 2 years old. Right? And that's a problem. In today's age, when stuff moves so quickly with digital marketing, with social, with everything else that's going on, with the ability to communicate in real time, essentially, with your consumers, you need to have the ability to think fast. You need to have the ability to trust your team. You need to have the ability to have everyone on the same page. And you need to remove the silo, whether it's internally or externally. You need to remove the silo, remove the veil, have direct communication, and have a direct line of communication that says, here's our goal, here's where we're going, we're all doing the same thing together. And if adaptations need to be made for Canada because something is different business-wise there, great. But you don't need different people in different silos making different decisions because then everything you do from a business and marketing perspective gets watered down. And anyone who sees any crossover, there's no recognition to the brand because things look different here, they look different there, the message is different, the communication style is different, the interaction with customer service is different because everyone's in a different silo and everyone has their own little pod of people telling them what to do instead of kind of opening that structure up and allowing the communication to flow and allowing everyone to move in the same direction. I think that's the way that all companies, big or small, need to figure out how to operate in, because the silo thing's just a bunch of junk, and any company that thinks that they can continue to work in silos over the next 5, 10, 15 years is going to be really sorry they didn't change their business model, or at least their internal structure, because it's not going to work. It doesn't work now, and it's going to work less in 2 years, and it's going to work way less in 10 years. So anyway, I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on that. Thank you so much for watching episode 34. We'll bring some more stuff in soon. Remember to like, comment. I've been getting some good feedback, so please keep sending that in, and take care. We'll talk soon.
Hey everybody. Hello. Stop working in silos. I'm here to tell you why.